Chili is a very broad category of stews or soups descending from Texas and northern Mexico, which of course used to be the same place, and in my humble opinion, there is a secret to a perfect bowl of chili. Gotta start with some chilies, of course. You can use fresh, you can use dried, you can use a mixture, hot, mild, whatever you like. A bell pepper is a mild chili. You can cut them in half and pull the seeds out, just because the seeds are kind of yucky, and if you want to limit the heat, you can pull out the ribs in which the seeds sit. I just cut each of these halves into strips so that I can cut across the strips to get a nice dice. Any kind of onion will do, just a rough chop on that. Remember, it's a stew. It cooks a while, so the pieces are going to fall apart. They don't have to be perfect or especially fine. Some oil in a pot, throw in the veg. You could also throw in some carrots or cauliflower or something for some extra vegetables in your diet. I'll just cook that over pretty high heat for about 10 minutes to soften everything, give it all a head start. That looks good enough. Remember, it's going to cook some more. Chili isn't always a tomato-y stew, but in its contemporary form, it's usually a tomato-y stew. I like this brand of canned tomatoes, not an ad, and the fire-roasted kind are really good for chili. I'm doing 2 big cans of crushed tomatoes, but you could use less. You could use tomatillos and make green chili. Now, of course, chili in this context is short for chili con carne, chili with meat. So we need some tough cut of beef suitable for stewing. I'm using oxtail today, and no! 3 or 4 cans of beans! That's the secret. Chili is beans in spicy tomato sauce. Yes, originally it was meat, but it has evolved into part meat, part beans, or sometimes all beans, and who among us needs more beef in our diet? Just eat beans! In the 21st century developed world, beans are better for individual and planetary health. For most meals, for most people, beans are better. Soak some dried beans overnight if you want and then throw them in, but cans are almost as good and far faster. Of course, the secret is to drain and rinse the canned beans. And no, just dump in the bean juice! The bean juice is just some of the soluble carbs and proteins and such from the bean. For a stew like chili, we need some water, and we need a little starch for thickening, and the bean goo is full of starch because beans are seeds, just like grains. They just have more protein than grains because of nitrogen-fixing bacteria that grow on the roots of legumes. Oh, what about the added salt in the bean goo? Well, weren't you going to season your stew anyway? Just don't add as much salt. Anyway, bring that to a simmer. If you're using soaked dried beans, you'll have to simmer them for at least an hour or 2 until the beans are soft. Canned beans are already soft, but the stew does taste better if you simmer it anyway for like a half hour. Now the spices must be the authentic mixture of... No, there's no such thing! Just dump in stuff from your spice rack until you like how it tastes. Cumin is pretty standard, as would be some kind of dried smoked chili. Smoked paprika is easy to find and it's not spicy. You can always add spice with cayenne or something if you want the heat. Oregano is pretty standard, and pre-packaged chili spice mixes usually include a ton of garlic powder for a reason. Garlic powder is the easiest way to make nearly any stew taste way better. I don't even know what this one is, but it's red, so I'm putting it in the chili. Chili is just beans in spicy tomato sauce. Make it up as you go along. Stir it in, give it a taste. Needs way more smoked paprika and cumin, and I think I'll do some mustard powder too because I just want more pungency, and I only need like a pinch of salt because the canned goods were already salty, and that's totally fine as long as you account for it. But what you really need to make this authentically Mexican is some of the traditional Mexican chocolate that they use in savory dishes down there. Or you can just dump in some dark chocolate chips. You're gonna get the same exact effect. You won't notice the sugar because the tomato sauce is already sweet. Honestly, just a little dark chocolate melted in there really does a lot to make this taste like more than just beans and spicy tomato sauce, which is all chili is. That tastes really good. I could eat it every day, and we will for the next 3 days. This is what most home-cooked meals should be, in my opinion. A big, nutritionally complete, and mostly meatless stew or soup that you just throw together one night and you eat for the next 3 weeknights. Get your variety on the weekends. This is a far more sustainable way to cook and eat for most of your meals, both from the standpoint of your time and from the standpoint of individual and planetary health. More sustainable. You don't have to love it, just eat it. It's fuel for your body so that you can do the things that you want to do. Not every meal has to be like a trip to the amusement park, for God's sake. How badly have I contributed to that self-destructive expectation? Just eat beans and sauce. Good. Hey, now that I've been yelling at you for a while, allow me to sell you something. The Adam Ragusea Custom Chef Knife is back for sale again at adamragusea.com, just in time for the holiday gift-giving season. It's almost as though we kind of planned it that way. Last time we sold these a few months ago, we sold out within a week. It's the same great knife that everybody seems to have loved so far, same great piece of German steel that's easy to care for and easy to sharpen, incredibly sharp this is. Same laser engraving of our little inside joke, and I suppose there is one difference in this new edition that devotees will notice. There's the price, same as before, and unlike before, we are able to sell outside the United States this time in these select countries. However, if you're getting it from those countries, then you're going to be paying some potentially steep shipping and maybe even import tariffs. Sorry, this is such a small deal, such a small batch of knives that we couldn't interest any European distribution houses in doing this with us. It's just too little for them. So we're shipping them all from the United States, and that's going to be kind of expensive, but if you have an Adam Ragusa super fan in your life, I'm sure they will appreciate it. It's got the same super durable engineered pack-a-wood handle as before. I will say one thing I heard from people who bought the knife the last time was they said the kind of shine on this handle wore off after they washed it for a while. That's a good thing. It ships with sort of a protective coating on it. It just washes off as you wash it, and then actually you get a better grip on the knife as it goes to more of a matte finish on here. That's a feature, not a bug. And the only bad experiences I've heard about people having when they use this knife is if they put it in the dishwasher. Do not put a good chef knife in the dishwasher ever. Always wash it by hand. Dishwasher would mess up the handle. I continue to use this knife for almost everything I do at home myself. It's everything that I want in a chef knife. It's got that nice hybrid Asian and European shape that I think is pretty much perfect. Got a really heavy heft to the handle, nice weight in this full tang that goes all the way down through the handle. It's one piece of steel. And it really is the best piece of steel I can give you for a reasonable cost. Now, some people have noticed that some comparable quality knives are on the market that don't cost quite as much as my knife. And they asked me, well, does your knife cut better or something? And the answer is no, probably not. The reason it costs more is because it's got like my logo and stuff on it. And it's a small little boutique order. We don't have much economy of scale when I'm only ordering enough knives to be made for, you. It's not a huge thing. And so yeah, there's some extra cost associated with it being the Adam Ragusa knife. But again, if you got a super fan in your life, this is the holiday gift giving season as I record this. It comes in this box and it's got my little note in it, totally giftable. I cannot guarantee that shipping will get to you by, say, Christmas, but that is like the whole idea. That's why we're doing this now in the middle of November, to give you plenty of time to order and get the knife delivered to you in time for holiday gift giving. If you're ordering it overseas, I'm honestly not sure what's going to happen, but if you get on it now, I'm pretty sure we have a good chance of getting you everything that you need for the big day. Thank you so much for your support and for your interest. It's ridiculous to me that people would want my chef knife, but there it is, adamragusa.com. Go and get it. Oh, and keep your vinegar, well,